Welcome to the Kessler Law Firm podcast. If you'd like to connect, you can find the link to our website along with directions to our office in Fort Pierce in the show notes of this episode. Attorney Michael Kessler has been providing criminal defense and protecting the rights of citizens on Florida's Treasure Coast since 1985 and has been designated by the Florida Bar as a board-certified criminal trial specialist. With a solid record of success spanning over 40 years, attorney Michael Kessler has proven that more people are wrongly arrested for drunk driving than any other crime on the books. And now, here's Michael Kessler.
Welcome to our podcast, my good friend Cliff Barnes. And Cliff's going to tell us what happens when a lawyer gets summoned for jury duty, because that wonderful thing fell into his lap recently.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, it was quite a shock. I tried to get it postponed because I had a week's worth of legal work to do, but I was unable to do that. So I did my duty. I showed up, and I was actually heartened by the whole experience.
Well, tell us about it. When you first got to the courthouse, where did they send you?
Well, I had to wake up before light. Made my way to the courthouse, got there at 7:30. Long line outside. It's a good thing it wasn't raining. And then I kind of skipped a lot of the preliminaries as far as security checks and that type of thing for the jurors that showed up. So probably we got into the jury room about 8 a.m. and they checked our IDs. They offered to pay us for our time. We then had a
Let me
Yep.
stop you there for a second.
Yep.
Were there any problems with any potential jurors not having IDs?
A couple of them had to run back to their car because they didn't have them on them. So,
Okay, because they wanted to verify that you really were who the jury notice.
oh, they're very careful. Very, very, very careful.
Okay, and what sort of riches did they offer you? You said they offered to pay.
$15 for the day. That was more than I was going to make anyway. So,
Yeah.
that's a good day's work for a lawyer.
Now, did they offer that in cash, or were they going to have to send you a
Cash.
check?
Cash.
Cash money.
Yes.
Well, that's great. So you could go and spend it downtown supporting our local restaurants.
Absolutely. And then they gave a list of restaurants out for, and then charities that they could donate to. So,
Wonderful.
yeah. And then we until the judge came in and, well, take that back. Michelle Miller, the clerk, gave us an introduction and a welcome.
Okay. Anything unusual in what she told you?
No, but she reminded us how important we were and told us where the restrooms were and the restaurants, and she did a good job.
Important things.
Did a good job. Important things, yeah.
All right. How many people turned up for jury duty the day you were there?
I believe we had 48, perhaps 50, 48, 50.
Do you know how many were summoned for that day?
I don't, but it seems like there were only two. I showed up on Tuesday, but they had a 60 there the day before.
Okay.
So on my day, evidently it would have been a DUI misdemeanor case that would have lasted one day. And,
Okay.
remind me to tell you about their efficiency.
Okay. Well, I remember talking with a couple of folks involved in a recent capital trial where jury selection took, I think, close to 2 weeks, but they were only getting about a third of the summoned jurors to show up.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know
But
that.
you didn't hear any conversation like that when you were there?
Did not, but they, they warned us that the failure to show up, you could actually go to jail or be fined, which is the necessary alternative.
Yeah. I remember a few years ago, now retired Judge Joe Wild in Vero actually held a potential juror in contempt and sent him to jail because he didn't show up.
Right.
Okay, so you're in the jury room, you got your cash, you proved who you are, and you know now where the bathroom is and where the restaurants are downtown.
Right.
What's next? What
Well,
happened?
I want to back up and talk about how efficient our jury system is.
Okay.
They reminded, the judge that came in later reminded us that in a lot of South Florida counties, you show up and spend the whole week waiting for a judge to reach down and pull you out and bring you into their court. And in this case, evidently St. Lucie County, except maybe for that capital case, brings them in different groups on different days according to need of the judges. They don't just bring 200 people in for the week and make them sit there. So you, in St. Lucie County at least, you sit there for a very short period of time compared to other counties. And if they don't need you, you're done for the week.
Well, and then what a lot of the potential jurors don't know, you and I know because this is what we do. Many judges have what they call a mini docket call, either the day before or the week before jury selection, where they go through with the lawyers on both sides the cases that are set. And so the judge has a pretty good idea of how many cases are actually likely to go, and therefore how many jurors do I really need.
Correct. Yeah.
And that stuff's done behind the scenes. Jurors who show up for jury duty don't see any of that, but that leads to the efficiency that you were talking about.
Right. And after we watched the first 45 minutes of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, is that what the name?
Yeah.
It was a great movie, but then Judge Eisenhower came in and gave us a rousing, patriotic call for duty and thanks for your service. Did a very nice job.
And for our new viewers, might be interested to know that Judge Eisenhower is the fellow that took the bench when Judge Barnes retired.
Ah, yes, he was my replacement.
What was that, about 10 years ago?
Oh my God, 16? Yeah, about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Hard to
Wow.
believe I've been retired and then semi-retired. Well, actually full-time working now, but semi-retired for a few years.
Yeah. So after Judge Eisenhower inspired everybody in the room to do their duty and serve on a jury, then what happened? What did they do
Well,
with you?
I was enjoying the Ferris Bueller because we got into the really good part where the principal is about to bust Mr. Bueller for pretending that his girlfriend had a call from a funeral home and had to attend a had to attend a funeral of her grandmother. So we were really getting into that, and then one of the bailiffs called my name and told me that one of the judges had taken pity on me and was going to excuse me and let me go back to work.
Okay. Well, that's nice. You want to tell us which judge that was?
I'm not sure. He didn't tell me who it was, so I don't know who to thank. But
Ah,
he
okay.
used the word she, so I think I know.
Well, that narrows it down a little bit.
To Judge
Um,
Sweet, I believe.
okay.
Super
So,
judge, love her to death.
um, had you gotten to the point in your jury experience where you actually filled out a questionnaire?
I did, absolutely. Yeah, everyone had to do that, and they reminded those of us like me who had forgotten to do it. And they have computer terminals, probably 30 nice computer terminals in there for you to fill out your paperwork. Very, what would I say? Very homey, um, uh, just very welcoming jury room that doesn't appear to be an industrial type setting. It's more of a almost like a living room. It's very nice.
Okay, so you don't get the feeling that it's a verdict factory.
No, no, and
Good.
the judge reminds everybody their duty in criminal versus civil. And one thing I learned is those things we tell the jury in voir dire have already been explained in great detail to to the jurors that we are trying or that we think need to hear it for the first time. So
That's good to know.
it is good to know because you don't want to insult their intelligence, but they don't know what you know.
Right, and you don't want to
You don't
bore
know
the
what they
jury.
know. Right.
Okay, so you said that you, like some of the jurors, forgot to bring the questionnaire. This was then something that was mailed to you with your jury notice?
No, the questionnaire is actually, there's a link on your jury
I
notice,
see.
and I forgot to go online and do it. So they have all those terminals. You can do it right there. which is
So
really
did,
convenient.
did the jurors who remembered to bring their questionnaire in, did they get more cash for the day than you got?
No. And everyone had to do it online. Now, as a lawyer, you see them handwritten, but
Right.
it seemed like at least now they require them all to be done online.
Okay. Well,
So they
that's a
all
recent.
should come out typed now and that you can read them, unlike the old days.
So you. So if you're a handwriting analyst, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
You
Well,
don't get the.
yeah. That's one less clue.
Okay. So you didn't get brought into the courtroom for the actual jury selection or jury elimination process.
I did not. One thing that was funny is Judge Eisenhower was reminding everybody that this was not like you see on TV. This is not the, because mostly on TV they go into criminal trials because the general population is bored with civil, like we are, you and I.
Right.
So he goes, this is not like Matlock. In Matlock, they do this, they do that. Some of you are not old enough to remember that. So I looked at him and raised my hand. I said, and a lot of people are not old enough to remember Perry Mason. I grew up on Perry Mason, as you may have too. So, I figure probably 80% of the jurors had never heard of Perry Mason,
Never heard of Perry Mason,
but
and
they heard of Matlock. But some of
well,
them were
and
too young to remember Matlock. That's hard to
it's
believe.
it's my understanding that there's now a current version of Matlock starring a woman playing a completely different character.
Okay.
Some of our younger jurors that watch that might think that that's who he's referring to.
Oh, true. Absolutely.
But his point was, I guess, that uh, you should forget what you see on TV, and we'll tell you how we're doing things here.
Exactly. And he gave a really nice presentation, completely without notes, um, and just very forceful and to make people realize that this is serious stuff and that uh, they are doing what, other than military service, the most important thing they can do as a citizen to support our justice system and our democratic way of life.
That's exactly right. Um, Other than the bailiff who came in to excuse you, did they handle any other jury requests to be excused in the jury assembly room while you were there?
Not while I was there. They did ask, they made everybody agree, or, they made everybody acknowledge, as they did in the jury questionnaire, that they could speak English, that they weren't a felon, that they were otherwise not disqualified for jury service, and they made us stand and take an oath to those things.
So, in addition to not being a felon and speaking English, everybody was 18 or older,
Correct.
and
Yeah.
and everybody still lived in St. Lucie County.
That was one person had moved. I noticed a couple people had moved within the county, but they had new addresses. And of course, for
Okay.
your listeners, you and I both know that you got to let the Department of Motor Vehicles know immediately when you move, change addresses. So it's a misdemeanor if you don't, as you know. So
And not only that, Division of Motor Vehicles will send their official notices of things like license suspensions to the address they have on file.
correct.
And because that's the address you give them, and if you move and don't tell them and you don't get your mail, that's on you. It's not on them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And they make mistakes just like anybody else. But if you get a suspension notice in the mail or you don't get it because you don't live there anymore, you may miss your chance to correct that mistake.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we'll talk about that another time. We'll keep our focus on jury selection. Did you hear any interesting stories or complaints or anything from your fellow jurors before Judge Eisenhower came in the room with you?
No, it's interesting because as a trial lawyer, we see them later in the process, and by the time we see them, and by the time they're picked, you notice that they're kind of warming up to each other. that because they've heard all the questions and they've laughed at the jokes and they kind of developed some camaraderie. Oh no, not when we first went in there. Everybody is like a airport lobby or an airport waiting area to get on a plane. Nobody really was talking to each other. We're all just doing our own thing, heads down, cell phone out.
Everybody keeping a low profile, hoping they
Yeah.
don't get called.
That too, yeah, right.
Yep, give me credit, give me the 15 bucks for showing up, but leave me alone, let me go home.
Or just let me, I don't want to socialize at 7 in the morning, right?
Oh, there's that too. Did they have coffee for you all?
Not that I know of. Not that I
It's
know
one
of.
more thing to keep in mind.
Right. Everybody was very, very efficient, very professional. I was impressed with everyone. The bailiffs couldn't have been kinder and just very professional.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate your sharing your experience with us. And you're always willing to come on the podcast and help us out, teach us things from your point of view, from a former judge's point of view.
Thank you.
And
And as next trial I have, you know how you pick up over the years just little tidbits. Next trial, this has helped me because I'll be able to tell that jury my juror experience and be able to empathize with what they've had to go through for the first 2 or 3 hours. So
mhm,
every little bit helps.
it does. It certainly does. Well, Cliff, thank you very much for joining me today for this episode of the Kessler Law Firm podcast. And I will reach out again when I need your help.
Please do. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for listening to the Kessler Law Firm podcast. If you'd like to connect, check the show notes of this episode for a link to our website and directions to our Fort Pierce office. Whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening to it on your favorite podcasting site, please click subscribe or follow so next time you come back, our podcast episodes will be ready and waiting for you.